along this line, yes, we could be getting some hail. I think Peyton was looking at that. Were you looking at that, Peyton?
Yeah, I can pull it up here a little bit closer. Yeah, we are getting some reports of hail. I just zoomed in. I think this is in portions of Garrett County and over towards portions of Madison County, from Stone down towards Judson, McCreary, Teetersville, Buckeye. Could be seeing some quarter-size, pea-size hail, maybe even a little bit larger. So we'll continue to look at that back towards Marksbury here and up towards, I said McCreary, up towards Buckeye. This is all pushing again to the east and portions of Madison County there. So we'll continue to track that. We're also getting some storm reports again out of Anderson County with those high winds. We'll continue to follow that for you. And I know on my way in Nicholasville and some of those areas, we had the storm sirens going off as well. So definitely make sure you take this seriously. There are all kinds of threats at this time for these areas.
Thanks, Peyton, for that update there. Again, so heavy rain, frequent flashes of lightning with this, even some hail that we're just seeing there. But the biggest concern would be if we could see a tornado develop. And that would be possibly, if there is one, coming out of Garrett County now into Madison County. And I'm going to put a track on that. It's moving east now, and I talked about that. 55 miles an hour. There's where the rotation initially was a minute ago. But I want to give you where it's currently at and then put a track on it. So it's in that vicinity. So the radar is pretty close in flagging that. There's the new update. It's moving east at 55. That's fast, folks. This is racing. Think about you're driving down the road at 55. May not seem like that it's that fast when you're driving, but when we got a storm that's moving that fast, I mean, you've only got minutes. Cottonburg right now. If there's a tornado, it's there. Let me reposition this. All right. Ruthton, 932. Richmond, down the line here, 940. EKU, 940. If you have kids that are at Richmond right now, they may not be aware that there is a tornado warning. Tell them they need to find wherever that safe place is in that building, in their dorm, whether they're in class right now. And I'm sure that I know they have a tornado protocol set up there. Alerts will likely be sent out there on campus, but by chance, if they don't know, call your kids. Let them know. Or if you have friends down here in Madison County, let them know that there is a tornado warning. We have not confirmed this on the ground, but we still have some broad rotation, at least enough that the Weather Service has obviously issued a tornado warning, and we're going to stay with this until it's all done, okay? Because it's threat to life and property here. I'm about to switch radars to a different radar product. Still see the rotation. So on our detector, it's on the weekend. All right. But earlier, this same cell has had signs of some stronger rotation showing up within it. Back to the west, it did. You can see, you can kind of follow where we've had some of the damage paths along this. Coming out of northern parts of Marion County, Washington County, worked its way east. That's where we are right now. So the rotation is now out of Garrett County and it's working into Madison County. If you live in Madison County, more specifically, EKU, Richmond, really the northern half of the county, this right along I-75. And if you know anybody that's traveling today that is going to be going on I-75 here soon, please give them a call, tell them, pull over, find a gas station. You do not want to get under an underpass or an overpass, okay? Because the winds can accelerate under there and get even stronger. Do not seek shelter there. Seek shelter in a sturdy structure, all right? So call anybody you know. If they're traveling up and down 75 here or traveling in general, tell them that they need to get off the road, find a gas station, a friend's house, someplace. And then once you get into a sturdy structure outside of your car, you want to obviously be in a basement or a storm cellar if someone has that, or a first floor of the home if it's not a basement. I want to reset too because we have people further north that are watching us here in parts of Scott County, Harrison County, northern Fayette, into Bourbon County. Not looking really at any pronounced, really rotation or tornado threat showing up here, but I am watching for some gusty winds back just north of Georgetown. Look, and even there was a hail report that was there. That was from this morning. Riding up 25 or 75, both of those. Still some gusty winds here. I would, by looking at this, I would say that we've probably got winds. That is showing in opposite direction. I'd say that we probably at least have some winds near 60 miles an hour for sure going through parts of Scott County. Not a tornado warning, but still severe thunderstorm warning. So coming through Georgetown now, some strong winds. I'm going to switch over to the normal radar view. Likely some hail still showing up there. Could be getting hail the size of quarters. Winds up to 60 and heavy blinding rain up and down 75 through Scott County. That's moving east. That line is probably about 50 to 55, just like the warning further to the south. I'm going to put a track on this entire line and take it northeast at 55. Bear with me, I may be out of the screen because this storm, look how fast it's moving, all right? Boydtown now, Donerail now, Clabbertown or Clabber Bottom now, Oxford now. Heavy rain, gusty winds on top of you, all right? Or about to be. New Zion, 936. Leesburg, 939. Jimtown, over near Jimtown Baptist, 942. Jacksonville, 942. All right? So a lot of communities there. That's for the severe thunderstorm warning that is in play, that's going out of Scott County for some heavy rain, gusty winds, and hail that could be the size of quarters. That's going in Georgetown now, and it will be going over towards Centerville, Newtown, Oxford, Cynthiana. You'll be down the line. But still the biggest concern, the main concern here is for this storm that's coming into Madison County now. I want to switch radars. We're getting closer to Jackson. Now I want to look here at the Jackson radar. Still kind of messy, definitely some broad rotation here. But it's been fluctuating a bit over time. If there's anything still left, again, it's west of Richmond. They continue to trim off the tornado warning. So now most of Garrett County, really Garrett County, you're in the clear from the tornado threat. If there's a tornado here, it's going to be right in the western part of Madison County. West of Richmond, west of EKU, right near Crow Valley. Are they saying anything in the NWS chat there, Hayden?
Yeah, so it looks like we have some hail reports out of Georgetown, which we were just seeing that on the hail tracker there. We're getting a lot of storm damage reports out of Harrodsburg. So we're going to continue to watch that really closely. So I just saw a report out of Georgetown for around 30-mile-per-hour winds, but I'm sure we do have some areas that are stronger, so we'll continue to follow that for you. I do want to throw up here, again, since we are getting some reports of that hail, throw up the hail tracker here really quick, just to see that and see what we're seeing on radar. And it looks like, and again, probably with the more recent sweep, we'll get a little bit of an update. But if I zoom in here just to the northwest of Great Crossing, from Duval to Schiff, it looks like we're seeing some hail there, indicated by radar. And again, we are getting those reports. And if I scroll back down, the big story as far as hail goes is embedded in that severe thunderstorm and tornado warning in portions of Madison County, just to the west of Richmond. So it looks like we're getting some hail reports there, along with all of, obviously, the heavy rain and storm threat there as well. So we'll continue to follow that. Looks like anywhere you would see that hail is a lot of times in this purple area here, just to the west of Arlington, Richmond, EKU. If you're on Eastern Kentucky University's campus, be weather aware. This is coming towards you. We have strong winds, very heavy rain. If you're on the interstates or on area roadways, say I-75 here, just around Richmond, we could begin to see some ponding on the roadways. So probably a good idea if you want to pull over for a little bit, stop, find some shelter, get out of the storm's path as it is moving very, very quickly. I want to kind of show you some communities that need to be in the lookout, because you're probably just seeing some light rain at this point and wondering, well, what are we talking about? From Reed's Crossing over towards Moberly, Elliston, Bybee, College Hill, even out towards Fox and Winston. Be on the lookout. This storm is headed towards you. And so we'll continue to follow it there. But really concerned, Justin, with EKU's campus. I know a lot of students back on campus now after winter break in Richmond area, and the worst is still yet to come for them. And if you're traveling along I-75, especially because hydroplaning is a concern, we could see some ponding on those roadways, and then plus have the winds and the possible tornado threat with that. It's a real concern.
Yes, and that's the storm we're watching, and this is the storm here of most concern. I mean, we don't want to forget, obviously, about the rest of our viewers that are up further north into parts of Harrison and Scott County, but that storm is a bit weaker, and we're focused right now on the tornado warning. This storm, I just was looking at the Weather Service damage reports back out of Harrodsburg, all right? And in the box beside you there, you can see our tower cam, and we're looking further to the south at this storm. I'm not seeing any lowering. It would be likely blinded by the rain that we're seeing here in town, but we'll definitely keep a close eye on that as we track this in. Damage from this storm that went back into Harrodsburg, National Weather Service said, and actually getting a report from Chris Hall that possible damage to the YMCA in Harrodsburg. We've got our news team that's checking on that, and we thank him for that report with 606 Storm Chasing. Let's zoom in just again back closer into Richmond. I want to switch radars because we're starting to get a little bit further out of the view of the radar in Louisville. It's going to be further away, and we want to give you a better indication of what the rotation may be looking like closer to the ground. All right, since this storm has had the capability of producing, or it did actually produce some damage back to the west, whether that was straight line winds or whether that was a tornado or not is still yet to be determined, but still it's been a damaging, producing storm, and we are going to stay with it, okay? The Weather Service has not extended the warning yet, but it's been a storm that's had rotation with it going well back west of our viewing area, back into areas south of Louisville, over toward Bardstown. So it has had rotation with it for a long time right now, and we're going to stay with it. As long as I see that threat for a tornado or at least some rotation, we're here for you, and I sincerely mean that. Richmond, EKU, north side of Richmond 2, I want you to be in your safe place, okay? Hillcrest, Arlington, Richmond, and looking off to the north. In the back, I don't know if anybody can hear me, but there is a Richmond camera that's there, and it's free of use for us, and it's on a YouTube channel that we have access to. Let me step off here for just a second and get that information. That usually, and that would give us a view. They're going to work on trying to get that pulled up because I want to see if we're able to see anything that possibly could be there. I'm getting a report of what we were talking about, the YMCA in Harrodsburg, told that the YMCA in Harrodsburg got hit and they are evacuating the kids. Not good. That was from a viewer that's dad looks to be in that area, okay? So we're watching that storm very closely, and this is where it's at. The rotation looks a little more ragged. It doesn't look as well concentrated like it did earlier. Still, though, in this setup, in this atmosphere, broad rotation, we could get a spin-up tornado. So Richmond, stay hunkered down, underground in the basement. If you don't got that, lowest floor of your home, interior room, bathroom, closet, hat, football helmets, baseball helmets, something to put over your head to protect it from potential flying debris. May sound crazy, you may look goofy, but guess what? You'd rather look goofy than possibly having damage to your head, and inside our heads, our brain, all right? I talk about this at school visits all the time. It's been found to be lifesavers down in Alabama, and those areas get a lot of tornadoes. So if you got a helmet, put it on, all right? Put it on if you're living down here. If you don't, obviously you want to cover up with some pillows, blankets, a mattress off the bed, something that's going to help protect you. All right, we're looking at Richmond, and that is the camera. It's available from visitrichmond.com. You can see it. All right, we're looking into Richmond. Obviously not, at least from this vantage point, not seeing a well-defined wall cloud or a tornado of that magnitude, of any magnitude rather, but doesn't mean that there's not from just a different view. Again, this is not our camera, so we don't have control of being able to move that, but it's still worth noting, obviously, the reduced visibility and the heavier rain that was going through there, and right now, this is what we are looking at on the radar, a tornado warning that remains in place. Let's check it until 9:45. 3 minutes. Peyton, is the Weather Service saying if they think they're going to extend this, they're going to allow it to expire here 3 minutes from now? Because it is getting weaker, but I'm still a little bit shocked that there may not be a severe thunderstorm warning yet.
It looks like what I'm seeing, let's see, we just got a new update in. I'm not seeing if they're saying anything specifically about the tornado warning. They did just add an aerial flood advisory for parts of the area, mainly to the west. And then also we just got a report that road crews are reporting trees down on roadways in Franklin and Scott counties, and they're working to clean those up now.
All right, that's for this storm right here that I wanted to give our viewers further north a bird's eye view of here. Into Centerville right now. From Centerville, you're going to work your way up to Leesburg. You're going to work your way.
Looks like they did extend the tornado warning.
Okay, we will go back
Expires
there.
at 10:15.
10:15. All right, what does that, who does that?
That includes Richmond. It looks like it stays in Madison County, maybe southern Clark County, but it looks like it's mainly for the rest of Madison County at this time.
All right, well, as I said a moment ago, we're going to stay with this, tracking the storm. Yeah, look at the rain there, the intensity of the rain as we look there. You see the trees on the camera there in Richmond are beginning to obviously to whip there. You can see looks like more like sheets of rain that are being blown obviously on the leading edge of this coming into downtown Richmond right now. Look closely. You see the bouncing? That is hail. Doesn't appear to be large, but nonetheless, you probably are seeing some small hail there, some torrential rain that obviously is going to reduce visibility. And you don't want to be out there, obviously, until the storm passes. Nobody wants to be clearly in that while you're trying to drive. I mean, it reduces visibility, ponding of water, tree limbs could come down. It just all adds up to just higher dangers of traveling. That camera is a great view for us. I'm glad that they have that there. We'll go back to that here momentarily, but this is the storm still that spawned the tornado warning, and looks like, again, as Peyton was mentioning, that tornado warning does continue till 10:15 for Madison, and it looks like they went, National Weather Service in Jackson opted to go severe thunderstorm warning over into Estill County. And that warning, let me put that on, is until 10:30. Also, it covers parts of Powell County, but that's the same storm here, all right, that's coming through Richmond now with heavy rain, hail, especially on the east side of town. So you're going to be riding east. Let's zoom in closer. This is Reed's Crossing, Moberly Community, Elliston, over to Bybee. That's moving east toward you, due east. Into downtown Richmond, it is rain. We just showed it to you there on the radar, but I want to look more importantly, let's dive into the scope inside of the storm and look at the wind. This is going to tell us if or where there could still be a little rotation. We're switching radars. Let me go back to Jackson here because that's going to be getting out of the National Weather Service view in Louisville, okay? If there is a tornado, it would now be east of Richmond, northeast. Right in here, you see, it's much broader rotation than it was, and we'll leave that camera up on there in the box there for a few moments so you can see that, yes, there still is heavy rain there. But if we have a tornado, it would be right here in this zone. It's broad rotation. You don't really want, but what I mean to say, if you are going to get a tornado, generally you're going to see brighter reds and brighter greens, a tighter couple like next to each other, bumped up. In the newest scan, we're seeing a little bit more brighter reds and some brighter greens, and they're getting back closer together. So that tells me the storm a bit here is kind of fluctuating in intensity in terms of a little bit of rotation. All right, so we got to keep an eye on that. We'll see if the Weather Service extends or upgrades this to a tornado. But for now, they're keeping the tornado warning for Madison, extreme southern parts of Clark County there until 10:15. And when I say Clark County, I'm talking about the southern tip here because that would be moving east. And I can draw it on here, and then we'll put a track because that's important. I want to give as much people as warning as possible. that's the track it would go. And here is southern Clark County. So if there's a brief tornado or one that could spin up, it could cross well south of Winchester. See if we can get some communities to pop up on here. Trap, Log Lick, Creasy or Cressy, Iron Mound, Palmer. All right, so you're on the Clark-Madison County line is where that would possible tornado be going. Anything new over there, Peyton? Why I put a track on this?
Let's see. I got some cameras pulled up around the area, so we could kind of take a tour really quick just
Okay,
around
that's great.
Across parts of the region. This is in Paris right now. The good news, what I'm seeing, and again, I've been watching a lot of the cameras around the area, not a whole lot of people on the roads, and that's obviously good news because we're seeing some very heavy rains, strong winds, strong wind gusts. So this is in Paris again, just wet roadways. Doesn't look too bad right now. I want to go to our station camera here, and it's angled right now towards UK. Actually, this is UK Medical Center here, and you can see it almost looks like the sun's trying to peek out behind this line of storms where it's pushing through, but notice just off to the east, the clouds are a lot darker, still some heavy rain. You can see it on the camera lens. You can actually, if you look really close, see the raindrops. So it's those big raindrops that are falling too, which is another concern if you're driving. This is currently on I-75 at the Clays Ferry Bridge. Again, not a lot of traffic, but you can see water standing on the roadways, especially on southbound there. So that's obviously a concern. And this is just to the north of Richmond there, where we're tracking that dangerous storm there. Let's see, let me go back. This is that's Paris again. We'll go back to I-75 at Newtown Pike. And again, the trend we're seeing, the good news is now we're not in the rush hour. So that is definitely helping with traffic on the roadways, which is obviously great news. But again, we're continuing to follow this. And I want to point out too, just because you're not in the tornado warning, this is still a dangerous storm for portions of Estill and let's see what Powell counties as well, from Irvine up towards Stanton. You need to be on the lookout, be in your safe place, because this is coming towards you, and we know this storm is capable of producing those possible spin-up tornadoes. So that's why we say, even though you're not in a tornado warning, you are still in this severe thunderstorm warning. So make sure you get to your safe place. I'm going to try to throw up, let's see, the hail tracker, because obviously we've been following that story too. And again, it was pretty defined in portions of Madison County back towards Lancaster, and portions of Boyle County back towards Danville. It looks like we're starting to get some hail showing up around Richmond. This is along 25, just south of EKU in Richmond. Radar's kind of indicating some hail here. Also up to the north in portions of Georgetown, we were getting those reports from the Weather Service, and it looks like that's continuing. So now this is over into portions of just north of Paris there around Cynthiana is where we're seeing some of those hail returns. Now that's in portions of Harrison County. I'm going to turn back on the radar here so we can take a look. So Cynthiana, the heaviest rain is just to the east here. It's pushing back towards Millersburg, Carlisle, Ewing. So be in your weather safe spot there as well, because again, we're seeing some strong wind gusts, some hail with all of these storms here. And then we also have that aerial flood advisory going up to portions of the west. So I'm curious to see if the Weather Service is going to extend that for portions of our area, just with all of this heavy rain. But if we take a wider view here, you can see this is stretching all the way from in portions of Ohio down almost just to the north of Somerset here back towards Campbellsville. So we still got a long way to go before this is all said and done as far as our viewing area goes. So areas that need to kind of be on the lookout as well. Mount Sterling, Flemingsburg, Moorhead, all of those areas, be aware, because this is coming your way in the next hour or so, and we could still have those severe thunderstorm and even tornado warnings by the time it gets to you. So definitely threats for all of the viewing area this morning. Justin.
That's right. Thanks, Peyton, for that update. Still checking in the Weather Service, obviously still seeing some of those damage reports coming out of part of Franklin County into Scott County, in the northern part of Scott County. But we're going back to the tornado warning here. Let me clear things off. This was our track from a few minutes ago, and I want to give you a new updated view. What you'll see here is we're still looking inside the storm. I'm showing you the wind. The rotation actually, it just is still more broad. if we're to get a better chance of a tornado to happen, that circulation likely needs to tighten up a bit, meaning these reds and greens really need to be bumping up against each other and not having some of the gray in between. No, we don't want that to happen, but that would be a signature that there is likely at least a higher chance of a tornado. I'm not going to say that there's not at least a low-end chance here at all, and it would be right here in northeastern Madison County, and we've been highlighting it. It made its way through Richmond and through parts of northern Madison County, and this is where, if there is a tornado, it's going to be in some of these smaller communities as it heads northeast. Let me clear off the drawing tool because I want to be able to draw or actually show you a clearer picture as to some of these smaller communities. We'll reposition the radar as we're tracking this for you and staying with you until the threat has ended. Doylesville, north of Union City, and then heading east into extreme southern, this is Clark County here. You get up toward Neenah and then work your way into northwestern parts. This is going to be over into northern Estill County. If we widen out the view, you'll see here. Here's Irvin. Rotation if there's a tornado left, and I say if, and I think that they're not going to extend this because rotation is getting much, much broader and weaker. It's going on a trajectory like this. It's going to cross out of really, let's go back to smaller communities. I've already lost some of those. Doylesville, Union City, it's crossing there, and it will work its way over toward Vienna, and then up toward Log Lick into the Iron Mound area. If there's a tornado, okay? But right now, I'm seeing less and less rotation show on radar. Let me look at one of our rotation trackers here. Let me clear off the warning, and we'll go back and show you inside some of the products that we have available. We're looking at the wind. Let's look at this kind of flags. It clears a lot of things up, and we give you a scale here. Rotation detector, all right? The green is where we have some weak rotation, really kind of all along this line that's now crossing out of Madison County, and it's right here on the Madison and Estill County line. We've got rotation through there. And so next in line, obviously, down the line for at least some gusty winds, maybe up to 60 miles per hour, going to be coming over to the Irvin area. Let's put a track on the whole line. And that shows there's the latest scan taking that rotation, or at least the potential rotation, and it's moving here east at about 55. So hopefully it's going to probably be hard to track that. I'm going to have to reposition things and try it one more time for you. Let's clear that because this storm is racing. So we'll move it west, and then we'll redraw a track. You can see tornado warning has just expired, which is good news. It's expired on time, but while I still got you, before I go back to programming, I want to look and just give an examination here as to what's happening all across our viewing area so our friends can let us know what's happening, or let our friends know what's coming your way. If there is any gusty winds coming out of Madison County, and there are, but if there is some potential for rotation or at least straight line winds, these are some of the communities going to be impacted very soon here. Noland now, Palmer, it's on top of you. Witt Springs, probably looking at some gusty winds here at 9:57. Hargett at 9:58. Wisemantown at 9:58. West Irvin at 9:59. Irvin about 10. And that's for here, this line of storms with heavy rain, gusty winds, and likely even some hail. And on the phone right now, we have Chris Hall. We're going to go to him just momentarily. He is on the way to the storm that made its way through Harrodsburg, through Richmond, and now this is where we are. He's on his way still there. There's his live feed. We're going to take him right now. Do we have Chris Hall on the phone? Hey, Chris, can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Where are you located right now?
We are just outside of Harrodsburg, Kentucky right now. We've got some reports of maybe some damage. I can't confirm if it was tornado damage or straight line wind damage, but we're going to go up there and check things out and just see the extent of damage or what's happened here in the past few hours.
Where were you hearing of some of that damage in Harrodsburg? Were there any particular buildings? I had seen a tweet a little bit earlier about the YMCA. Have you been able to confirm that?
I've seen multiple posts as well. I haven't seen anything photo-wise about it, but that's what we're going to drive up there and see what we can figure out. I know some other buildings have been damaged as well from reports I've gotten personally. So,
Well, we appreciate that report, and we'll definitely stay in contact with you. Some of the storms that you went through earlier this morning, you sent me that video that was in western Kentucky. What were you seeing earlier this morning?
Yeah, earlier this morning, 3 a.m., and gorilla hail falling from the sky, ping pong balls. That's enough to shatter a windshield if you don't drive just right. That was expected for today, and unfortunately, I don't think it's over.
Unfortunately, it is not. We've got this round, Chris, it's coming through. Thank you so much for that report. We'll definitely stay in contact with you, and as you get closer or into Harrodsburg, please let us know what you're seeing, and we'll likely try to connect back with you through the day, especially if we're on with wall-to-wall coverage. Appreciate it. Stay safe out there, Chris. All right, so one more little survey here because these storms that are going through Bourbon County and now into Harrison County, Nicholas County, Robertson, Mason, and Bracken counties, all under severe thunderstorm warnings. I want to give you the radar view. Why? Well, we've had some damage reports, trees that have been down in parts of Franklin over into Scott, and that storm is now here. The strongest part of the storm is really outside or on top of Millersburg, likely some hail there, up toward the headquarters area, heads up Carlisle. You're about to get some, if not already, some gusty winds, probably on the order of up to 50, maybe a little bit stronger. Gusty winds for sure coming through Mount Olivet here. That's up in Robertson County. This is all moving east, northeast, and next in line down the row from that, if they extend the warning, will be Ewing and working your way further up to the north into parts of Mason County. So that's something we're watching there. Is that line of the storms, and down south is, again, that tornado warning that still looks like, Peyton, did they reissue that just now?
Like the tornado warning's back. I also have some storm photos, but let's go to the tornado warning first.
All right, let's look at that. Looks like that they issued that for the northern part here of Powell County and extreme northern Estill County here. That goes till 10:30. You can see the warning box right there. Estill, northern Powell. It does include Stanton, does not include Irvin, does not include Ravenna. All right, so we'll press in a little bit closer. This is still includes Clay City, though. All right, so heads up, Clay City, heads up along the Mountain Parkway, running out of, again, Clark County, rolling your way down into Powell County here. You need to be, obviously, in the lowest floor of your home. I want to look at the wind back inside. There was still very broad rotation, and I think the Weather Service is probably playing it safe because we've had some damage here. And even though there's not a well-pronounced signature in this region on the rotation, they're probably issuing this just to give people as much safety as possible. It's better to be safe than sorry. You've heard that phrase before, you've heard that saying before, and it's absolutely the truth. Clay City, Stanton needs to be in that safe place, all right? Here's some smaller communities. This is extreme northern Estill County, Palmer, Iron Mound, Spout Springs, north of Kimbrell, over to Clay City, working our way as we head further off to the east, okay? So we'll keep an eye on that. But our friends here, northern Estill, northern Powell County, including Clay City and Stanton, basement, if you don't have a basement, lowest floor, first level of your home, interior room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside portion of your home, okay? This storm has had the history, it has, of producing damage. We've seen it back in Harrodsburg. We've gotten reports of it, and I think Peyton had some pictures. Did you have pictures from that storm?
Yeah, I got one right here. This is from Judge Executive James Kay outside of Woodford County. You can see, he just took a picture. It looks like probably in his front yard or somewhere. You can see a lot of debris here on the ground from those storms that obviously wasn't there. We're getting some reports of trees down and things as well across the area. Hail reports, strong wind gusts. Again, I said earlier, road crews are working in portions of Scott, Harrison, and I believe Bourbon counties to clear trees out of roadways and debris out of roadways there. So we're continuing to follow that. I believe we have a live shot from our reporters on the way to Harrodsburg. Are we able to pull that up? I don't know if the control room. Okay, we don't have it yet. Okay, so we have some reporters on the way to survey some of the damage, so we're going to get that up to you in just a few minutes. But again, we're continuing to follow. That's the only picture I have right now. If you have any pictures, send them to us. You can tweet me at Peyton Hinkle, at Justin Logan, both on Twitter and on Facebook, and we'll try to get those on air. If you can safely do that, help us tell the weather story, and we will definitely try to get those on. But again, right now we have that new tornado warning for portions of Powell County there, so Clay City, Stanton, those areas, be on the lookout. But again, I don't want to minimize the effect here in portions of Estill County still. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning and some strong thunderstorm here for portions of Estill County pushing off to the east there. So we're getting reports of hail with this, strong winds. So if you're in any of these warning areas, make sure you're in your safe place. Justin's tracking it there. I think he's looking at the rotation there. And so again, we're having strong winds with all of these storms. So obviously take this seriously. If you're on the roadways in any of these areas, probably a good idea to find a safe spot and just hunker down for the next little bit. Justin?
Yeah, you want to be, if this is one of the worst case scenarios. If you're on the road and a tornado warning is issued and you hear it come across the radio or you see it come across on your phone. Speaking of on your phone, you can watch our streaming coverage. If you're going to be out and about and you want to take us with you, you can. Just go to fox56news.com and we are streaming our severe weather coverage as long as it's ongoing, okay? Before we go out to our reporter Krista Spadaccini, I want to give you a quick look again. The tornado warning for northern parts of Estill County and over into Powell County goes till 10:30. It's a very small sliver of the county, but it's for, again, Stanton, Clay City, and then northern, and I do mean northern, it is north, well north of Irvin and Estill County. But what I'm showing you here is our rotation tracker. Sometimes that is going to find where there could be a tornado, but sometimes too, it's going to be highlighting where there is a heightened threat as a whole of some straight line winds that are coming through. And that's what it's highlighting here as we get into Estill County. So especially north of Irvin, if you're riding north out of town and running up through the northern part of the county here, going up through Hargett, you're going to be running into likely some very, very gusty winds on the order of 50, maybe up to 60, which itself obviously can do some damage here. And that's going to be crossing over, looks like Eage Drive here very soon, and then eventually going to work its way over into the eastern part of the county and out of there into Powell County. So anyone that's living even in Estill County, even though the entire county is not under a severe thunderstorm or a tornado warning, stay indoors, away from windows until this storm passes you by. Lowest floor of the home, interior room, away from windows. You want to stay there until this passes you completely. Wider view right there will show rotation Estill County crossing over into Powell County. Hunker down. Next storm to the north, still a little rotation and some gusty winds coming out of Robertson County into parts of Nicholas County. But with us right now, we have a live view up. It's our reporter Krista Spadaccini. On the way, Krista, you are to Harrodsburg to check out some of the damage we've heard in Harrodsburg. What have you heard so far?
Well, Justin and Peyton, yeah, we're on Bluegrass Parkway headed to Harrisburg. We're about 19 minutes away. We heard reports that the YMCA was hit from these storms, that they're evacuating the kids there. We also have reports that a roof was peeled back on North College Street in Harrisburg, and first responders are there. We'll double check on all those situations once we get there. But as for the Parkway and what we're seeing so far, the rain has just stopped. There's sprinkles here and there, but there are some puddles on the road. So if you're on the roads in this area, this direction, drive safe. It's pretty much all we've seen, right? I'm here with Tyler. He's driving, so I have the phone. He's driving. That's pretty much all we've seen, Tyler, right?
Yeah, it's been very calm. The rain has definitely died down, but like Chris just mentioned, if there is some standing water, just make sure you watch out for that. Drive safely. Be mindful of everyone on the road, and like Justin and Peyton have been mentioning throughout the morning, that if you are in an area where the storm is coming and you are in your car, pull over, find a gas station, a restaurant, something to get cover, because you do not, and I really do not want to be out. And we just actually got a notification on our map of severe thunderstorm warning heading towards Harrodsburg. So if you're still in that area, that is what the main beef of everything is right now.
As Tyler was saying, take cover. I've never been in a situation with tornadoes before, so I'm nervous. So I'm glad that I have information from him, as well as you, Justin, and Peyton. Anything else that you want to know as we're headed to Harrodsburg?
Well, thankfully, though, and obviously the worst of the storms are out of there. You're getting on some dry weather, which is good right now. When you get there, let us know, obviously, what it is that you do see when you get into that area. But when you were coming through Lexington, when you were leaving town here, what did you see as these storms were coming through our area?
Definitely heavier rain. But as we were leaving, the rain was also dying down. But there was definitely more rain. I would say probably in the last 5-10 minutes is when the rain kind of stopped, and we're only getting a few sprinkles here and there. Definitely heavier when we were leaving in Lexington than it is right now on our way to Harrisburg.
All right, thanks, Krista and Tyler. We appreciate your report. You guys be safe out there. You got some better weather in your direction right now. We'll check in with them a little bit later as they're heading there into Harrodsburg to see the damage that was caused by storms. Was it straight line winds or was it a tornado that went through Harrodsburg earlier? It'll be something that obviously the Weather Service will be surveying. They've already talked about that in the next 24 hours. But where that storm's at now is the one, yes, it went all the way back from near Bardstown, crossed through Harrodsburg, made its way through Garrett County, made its way through Madison, and it's now, if there is a tornado left, it's going to be in the crossing out of Estill and over into Powell County here. And we have friends that are watching there. I want to look inside the storm. Still not well-pronounced rotation, but regardless, I am seeing all along the leading edge of these storms winds that could be up near 50, 60. And you don't have to have a tornado to knock down trees or obviously to pick up debris or take the trampoline that may be in your neighbor's yard and pick it up and blow it into your yard, or that could get blown into your house, all right? Or into you if you're outside and not indoors as these storms pass through. So still damaging winds are likely possible, or at least likely, as we see this storm race toward Stanton and race toward Clay City. You'll notice that the Weather Service here, the yellow or the orange box that's blinking is a new severe thunderstorm warning. That is for Powell County till 10:30. That's been extended there, but it's also now over into parts of Wolfe County, and it's also up here into Menifee County. That's till 10:30. It's for this entire line here of storms that's rolling east. And let me clear it up and give you at home a little better picture. This is what you're used to seeing. A radar view, all right? We've got heavy rain. We likely have at least some hail that's showing up there. We have another tool that we can use inside the storm. This highlights likely what the radar thinks is the greatest threat. A little purple showing up here near the Irvin area. So I've been mentioning that there is the potential for some hail. Let's look and see what the radar has indicated. It's now shifted east. What size hail is that saying? About a ½ inch. So that's below severe criteria. You need hail to at least the size of quarters, which is 1 inch in diameter, or wind gusts 58 miles per hour or stronger. So far, hail, yep. That's going to be obviously causing some concern. Anytime we see hail outside, everybody's like, it's hailing. What's going on? Let me check it out. Well, that's going on now in eastern parts of Estill County, up in a part of Powell. Likely even seeing a little bit of hail just south of Irvin, right here in the southern part of Estill County. Let me reposition things a little farther off to the north. My tool, got to switch things up here and now zoom back in. We're zooming here and staying with you as we go through time. I think they're about to allow that tornado warning to expire, which is great news. But still, some small hail up to the size of about maybe nickel size or a little smaller going through Estill County and over into Powell. I want to give you a big picture here of what's going on in our entire viewing area, because these storms are stretching from the Ohio River down through Clay City, Stanton right now, back down into Berea. Nothing severe, Berea. Heavy rain, though. Likely still some winds on 30, 40 miles an hour. What about the rest of us? Well, our friends down to the south, we're looking here. Somerset, London, Monticello, over to Hazard and Pikeville and points further east. It's clear for now. This line of storms is going to continue to roll east. I want to show you another tool that we have. Is our future radar for the next hour and where it thinks this storm is going to go. So this is a loop. Let me put it into play, and the radar, reset that. The radar is going to go out in time for 1 hour, and where it thinks at least these storms are going to go. Peyton, you're on standby for some reason. I can't get this. There it goes. This is the next hour. This is where it thinks the storm that's currently in Estill County, currently in Powell County, it keeps moving east. Next in line, down the road, is going to be West Liberty. I'm talking about north of there. You work your way over into parts of Wolfe County, Campton. You're going to be next, riding along the Mountain Parkway. So this is an area in the next hour that's going to be obviously getting to storms that are currently in Estill County. Peyton, what do you got?
Yeah, so I'm trying to, again, piece together all of our cameras across the viewing area. This is I-75 in Mount Vernon. And I just want to point out, you can see the dark clouds just off in the distance there. And if we look on radar, that's because those storms are headed towards you. Now, the storm headed towards Mount Vernon isn't severe at this time, but we are still seeing some very strong wind gusts and even some hail out of that. I'm going to go back over to radar here just to take a closer look. We got the severe thunderstorm warning out for several counties now. Wolfe County up towards Menifee County, back towards Morgan County. So areas like West Liberty, you're still further out from this, but be prepared in the next hour to take cover. I want to kind of zoom in here and see if we can look at some of the hail reports that's radar indicated, just to give us a closer idea of what's going on. So right now, it's showing us some hail back in still portions of Estill County. Again, this is a little bit delayed. So where the storm system is right now, we're probably seeing some of that again once you go farther to the east. We'll continue to watch that. As far as velocity goes, where this tornado warning is, basically, anywhere along this line here, Clay City, you're included. I'm not seeing a lot of rotation, really any rotation in this right now. But again, you still want to be in your safe space, because in systems like this, we can see spin-up tornadoes spin up very quickly and very easily. I want to look at the shear here just so you can see. We have back toward in portions of Powell County. Let's see, I'm seeing this all with the fresh sweep, just as you guys are. But again, I just want to keep in mind that anytime we have storm systems like this, it is very easily along this line of storms for spin-up tornadoes to spin up very quickly and easily. So everybody should be weather aware right now if you are in these warning areas. So from Clay City to Stanton, and even farther east, if you're along the Mountain Parkway, if you're driving on the Mountain Parkway through portions of, let's say, Powell counties and back towards Wolfe counties, be weather aware, because this is coming towards you, especially if you're driving towards the storm. You can probably see the clouds off in the distance, so make sure you pull off, get to a safe space, because again, these are very dangerous thunderstorms here that we are tracking. Another story is the lightning. You can see we're seeing a lot of lightning right now around Stanton and Clay City. That's something we haven't really had a lot of time to talk about, but it's still an issue out there as well. And again, the hail, the strong winds, we're getting reports from all across the viewing area. I don't have it up here right now where I can pull it up, but we are also getting some reports of power outages back in portions of Harrodsburg. So we're going to continue to follow those reports as well as the morning goes on. But like Justin was saying, I just want to zoom out so you can see this system here. It goes all the way from portions north of Ohio towards Portsmouth, down through Flemingsburg, now Moorhead. It's on your doorstep, all the way down to southern parts of our viewing area along 75 here, back towards Mount Vernon. So this storm system is very large. We're seeing severe thunderstorm warnings all across the viewing area. We'll continue to track those for you. But again, the greatest area of concern right now is those warnings and portions of Powell, Estill, Wolfe counties, and then obviously that tornado warning there in Powell County. So, Justin.
Yeah, I was just looking at some information off the screen, talking to the National Weather Service with the tornado warning that's going for parts of, again, that's going to be Powell County, including the Clay City, Stanton area. That goes until 10:30. Estill County has been trimmed out of that. You're no longer under a tornado warning in Estill County. Let's take you back there, and then we're going to, after we survey this storm, look at what this storm has done in its past, the history of the damage that it's produced. Let me look inside. They're going to keep that tornado warning going. We've got another about 14 minutes left on that till 10:30. But the thing is, it's actually outrunning where the tornado warning polygon is located. So our tornado threat really is diminishing here into Powell County right now. It's not zero, but I want to look at storm relative velocity here. not at least really pronounced area of rotation along this line, but anywhere from Clay City to Stanton, we could, as Peyton was mentioned a moment ago, get a quick spin-up tornado, but I still believe that our greatest concern now here in Powell County is going to be for the threat of just anywhere along this here. We're going to be talking about the threat for some straight line winds, and that can in itself can do some damage. Look at it here, anywhere from Stanton, working our way into parts of Estill County, right along here, right along where we have that line of storms, and it's bowing out. I'll get back to a standard radar view in a minute, but from Stanton, look at this, going through, it's already passed through Furnace. Next is the Pilot community. Next is going to be Slade. It's in Powell County here. We're looking back into Estill County. It's already passed through Fitchburg. We'll reposition and go a little bit further in near the Patsy community. This is, again, far eastern Estill County, northeastern Estill County, and then over into Powell County. And then from there, it's going to be going over into Wolfe County. So still, even though that they're likely going to allow the tornado warning to expire, this storm still has the capability of producing winds that are up to 60 miles per hour potentially on the leading edge, and that is enough that can do damage and bring down trees. And we've seen that already happen so far. I'm probably too zoomed in to actually get a good storm track. Let me clear that off, and we're going to reposition it, zoom out for me to be able to get it, because the storms are just racing. Peyton, what's the speed of that storm for the warning that's going through Powell County? Is it still east at 55?
Which one? Say that again. I'm
The
sorry.
one that's coming out of Estill and into Powell that's going into Wolfe. What's the movement? Is
East at 45 miles per hour
so it's
right
slowed
now.
down a bit here, but still, I want to give our friends in Campton and points just north of there a little lead time on expecting the gusty winds that are going to be coming in, and that can do some damage. All right, we're looking towards Standing Rock 1022, so we're only about 4 minutes from now. Slade 1023, Zachariah 1024. Down the line, we're looking at Campton at 1034, Stillwater at 1038. Okay, the tornado part of this, I'm seeing the rotation that is really greatly weakened, at least for a tornado, but we're looking at rain, we're looking at winds, we're looking at likely on the leading edge of this potential for some small hail, not to severe levels. This is the only warning that we have left in our viewing area, I believe, as I reset. The warning for the north, this is outside of our coverage area. Technically, our coverage area goes off at Nicholas and it goes into Fleming. So still severe thunderstorm warning for Fleming County for another about 10, 11 minutes. But the strongest part of that storm is even north of you. Now, what we want to do here is gather things and take a look at a picture that was sent in. This is from the Harrodsburg area earlier. It looks like a roof here off the Mayview building was peeled back. This is as the storm was coming in. Was this straight line winds or was it a spin up tornado? By looking at this right now, I would say probably straight line winds, but by looking at this picture, it's too far in to be able to tell if there's been enough damage if it was a tornado. The Weather Service, though, is going to that area to survey damage. Chris Hall is actually getting into Harrodsburg right now. We have our crew, Tyler Melito and Krista Spadaccini, that are also on the way to Harrodsburg to get some information. And right now, still on the phone again, is Chris Hall. Chris, what do you see there now more than what just that picture was showing in Harrodsburg?
Hey, just now got into town. A lot of traffic lights are out. Looks like PD is controlling a lot of the traffic signals here in town. Don't see a lot in the way of damage, but I have only been up about 2 roads so far. But the main thing that I've seen is the power outages and the traffic lights out. I did see the roof peeled back on that building, a couple of limbs out around it, but nothing major around that building. So going back to what you said about the National Weather Service coming out to survey this, it looks like, personally, in my experience, that this probably was straight line wind. However, I've not been down a lot of these side streets, so I can't really confirm that. But as of now, just the biggest thing is power outages and traffic.
Okay. Thank you for that report. We appreciate that. Stay safe out there. Again, as you just heard Chris Hall say, that they are seeing, again, a lot of power issues that are there, power outages. Again, that one part of the roof that was peeled back there on the Mayview building. And we also have probably some tree limbs that are down in places too. We're going to watch that. But the storm still of the hour, and it's been the one all morning long, is the one that's crossing through Powell County, and it's heading to Wolf and southern Menifee. And then on the line after that, it'll work its way over into parts of West Liberty and parts of Morgan County. So we'll be watching that storm as it rolls east, but looks like that our tornado warning, Peyton, has expired. Give us a quick rundown on what you're seeing.
Yeah, that's the good news. That tornado warning has expired. But I do want to take a look at power outages. I believe in our control room, they're going to pull up the power outage map for us. It looks like the counties hit hardest right now is Mercer, which is in our viewing area. That's where Harrodsburg is there. They are about 30% of the county without power. Also, another county hit hard, which is just outside of our viewing area, is Owen County. They're reporting about the same. Both, I can't see those numbers exactly, but I believe about 8,000 customers across the state are currently without power. So that's what my producer's telling me. We got about 8,000 people across the state. Again, those hardest hit counties, though, right now is Mercer and Owen County across our viewing area. So we'll continue to follow that. I know Chris Hall was just on the phone, and we're going to continue tracking those. And we could expect more power outages as the day goes on, as we're tracking this throughout the day, especially like Justin was saying, areas like Morgan County and places like Wolf County all need to be on the lookout. If you're back towards Sandy Hook, West Liberty, Salyersville, even all the way towards Paintsville, they are now in that severe thunderstorm watch at this hour. That has now been extended. And so we want to make sure you guys are also staying weather aware over the next couple hours, because this is going to go on most likely into the afternoon. Justin?
Yeah, Peyton, we have Chris Hull back on the phone. He has some more information about some of that damage there in the Harrodsburg area. Chris?
Hey, buddy. Just spoke to a police officer here in Harrodsburg. He's actually directing traffic. He said that he does not know of any major damage in town besides the power outage through town and the building peeled back. And there was also a a power pole that caught on fire behind the Subway restaurant, but can't confirm if that was weather related or not. But other than that, there is no major damage according to that police officer as of now.
Okay, that's great news to hear. We like to hear that. Thanks for that, again, updated report. If you see anything else, Chris, just let me know as you're down there surveying some of the damage that may or may not be structural or not. We did see that one building that had a part of that roof that was peeled back. For sure, some straight line winds or strong winds regardless that came through there.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, Chris. All right, now let's give you a quick little rundown here before we go back to programming, because the tornado warning has expired. No tornado warnings left. We have the one severe thunderstorm warning, and that is still continuing here for Morgan County till 10:30. So we've only got 5 minutes left on that. We have Menifee County 10:30. We have Powell County 10:30. Northern Estill, even though the severe part of the storm really is out of Estill County, till 10:30. Again, that is the warnings that we have, but I've put on the county power outages on our screen so you can see this a little bit more clearly. Got a lot on, but I want to highlight, this is Mercer County as the storm was going through. 4,000 customers. That's not people, that's actual customers. That's quite a lot. That's as that storm made its way out of Washington County into Mercer County and then rolled east. You'll notice not getting a ton of reports across Garrett or Jessamine or Madison or even into Estill County yet, but it takes time, obviously, for some of those reports to come on in. All right, so let me reset things here. We have a lot of tools turned on. I want to go back to a standard view before we go back to programming. One overall rundown. What are we seeing big picture? Central Kentucky, Lexington area, it is just a scattering of some light to moderate rain now. That goes back down into Mercer County, still Anderson, back over into places like, you work your way into Washington and Marion counties. But Our friends that are watching right now in Danville, you may be concerned by some heavier rain, maybe on the leading edge of this in Stanford and northern Casey. You may be concerned with some gustier winds there. Nothing severe, and I don't expect anything from this to get to severe levels. The strongest we've got left is right along the Mountain Parkway, coming out of eastern Powell County into Wolf, right here, leading edge. Could still have winds gusting to about 50, 60 miles per hour. So still remain, again, inside your home and away from windows in parts of Wolf County, down even into, look, the line of the storms continues even into part of Lee County, and it goes from Lee even over into northern Jackson. So all along this line, still likely some gusty winds, but the strongest part is there into parts of really Wolf and Lee counties. All right, we will stay with you through the afternoon. If there is any more tornado warnings for sure, or we start getting some more damage reports out of these storms in eastern Kentucky, we will be back here to let you know about it. We could see more of those storms form for our friends in southern Kentucky as the afternoon does wear on. We'll be here all day again, but for now, back to regular scheduled programming.